All right, welcome into Off the Radar here on SicEm365.com. Taking a look at some stories outside of our normal discussions and maybe some things that would be a part of it, but just an opportunity for 15 or so minutes here to kind of focus in on some other stories that don't require a full-blown segment. And Armstrong, I sent you a tweet to have available, and I want to start off with the big controversy today in college sports. You might think that it has to do with name, image, likeness, or have to do with recruiting, or have to do with one of those types of things. But instead, one of the biggest topics today is the new Vanderbilt logo that they unveiled. Vanderbilt deciding to come up with a new logo, and there it is right there. There's the brand new V logo. Now, you might remember Vanderbilt had a logo where the V was different, and it was also within the star. Right? They had the star logo. There's the old logo right there. Thank you, Armstrong. There's the old logo, and then the new logo that they debuted today. So they're getting toasted, roasted, and that's social media. Like, you could come out with the coolest uniform ever, and like 100 people are going to tell you it sucks. But what do you think? Vandy trading in the old for the new. So far, public opinion is not in favor of the new logo switch.
Yeah, I having no feeling for Vanderbilt at all.
Yes.
I mean, it's fun. Looks like a nice V. I don't know. I mean, I feel
what's the complaint?
It's very generic. It's very simple. Like, even if you just included the star, people are like, "Well, keep the V, but keep the star as well." But it's it's an example of another company, corporation, college, just basically making it as clean and simple and, whatever design-wise.
Nice Baylor Adidas,
Baylor went through it here a long time ago, and it got the president of the university fired that he wanted to change the logo. So this can be a big deal, although they
went through it recently. Remember, Joe Vaughn was a part of that, and people didn't like it initially. And then they
didn't like the uniforms.
But then they liked to like them.
But the logo, the interlocking BU, stayed. When Baylor years ago tried to get rid of the interlocking BU, and it did not go over well. It was very controversial. And to me, it's not like they're doing a disservice to the namesake of this university, a robber baron named Cornelius Vanderbilt. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was just curious.
I wonder what the people who went to Vanderbilt would think. How much of the complaints are?
I think that's
that's
probably a pretty good number of the people talking about it.
A lot of people just don't like change.
All the ones I know, several people who went to Vanderbilt, which is an excellent school. You know what they do? They're stand-up comedians. So they're not exactly just running that.
You don't go to Vanderbilt to become a stand-up comedian.
They're great stand-up comedians.
Wow, okay.
They're great. So
now, here's the catch for everybody that was complaining, like, oh my God, there's always more information. Is there not?
Yes.
There's always more information. So according to the university, these new logos will be phased in immediately, but they will not be on the athletics uniforms in the fall until, the fall of 2023. So you're going to see the same old Vandy this upcoming season in terms of the logo. The logo will be incorporated over the next few years into athletics facilities as is feasible, and the Block V logo will become the new primary logo rather than the old Star V. However, they're going to redesign the Star V and still use that on some merchandise and things like that. So just anyways, I'm always interested in when teams kind of change up their logo, and I just somehow stumbled upon, I hadn't seen the star logo with the new V, and I don't like it. I really don't. That's not a hot take, but I really don't like this one. I hadn't seen this just yet, but the actual V with the star behind it. So anyways, there's Vanderbilt's new logo, and that's been a typical.
You don't like that one right there?
Yeah, I didn't send this one to Armstrong because I didn't know it existed yet. I hadn't seen this one, but it's basically that same new V and then just an outline of a star in various colors
almost like it's wrapped around the shoulders of the star. I like the white one better than the black one.
Yeah, there you go. There's the one with the actual star. Sorry, I didn't know about that one until a second ago.
No, it's not bad.
Is that Times New Roman?
No. Okay,
it's better. But we'll start seeing that incorporated in the fall of 2023. Now, name, image, likeness. There was a story that we did not talk about from a few days ago, and I don't know. I know on my end it was because I simply forgot about it because I either saw it late at night or I saw it too early in the weekend to remember. But did you guys happen to see the story that was going around a few days ago about Tennessee football and the package, the offer that apparently they had put together of $8 million a deal for an unnamed recruit.
I didn't know it was Tennessee. I just saw that a college had done this.
Well, actually, it was an undisclosed school, to be fair. It was an undisclosed school paying a recruit or signing them to a deal, an unnamed recruit, unnamed school, unnamed term, terms on the whatever this person apparently signed. But the one, I guess, fact to it was that it was apparently worth up to $8 million. And this came out a couple of weeks ago. And immediately that led everybody to start going like, who is it? Who's this guy that Tennessee's trying to pay $8 million? And people basically narrowed it down to one player in particular, and he is a star quarterback recruit. And it just so happens that Nico Iamaleava, and hopefully that's as close as accurate as possible, Nico Iamaleava has committed as of yesterday morning to play in Knoxville. Number 3 ranked prospect in the class, 6'5", 195, a great arm, obviously, as well. He announced his commitment to Tennessee on Monday, and he's a very intriguing athlete. A lot of schools were in on him. He had just recently visited Tennessee for a second time before just going ahead and pulling the trigger. So it's a big get for Josh Heupel, but he is the guy that people have assumed and pegged as being the $8 million. I use air quotes because we've seen reports like this that are totally bogus, but he is reportedly assumed to be the $8 million recruit that Tennessee, who was the unnamed school, that's the 2 and 2 that people are putting together.
My question to these people who've done this is that there are professional athletes that make $8 million that you've seen play at the professional level that are overpaid at $8 million. There is not a 17-year-old kid in this country playing high school football. Not one worth $8 million yet, because you don't know.
It's NIL, baby.
Nothing to argue with.
It's money for all, and so the initial report had come
good
from
for him. But
absolutely.
I just wonder
absolutely if that's who it is, and that's the school that it was. But a lot of people have already. It's kind of like that A&M recruiting report from they tried to knock. Oh, we didn't spend $30 million on our. It's kind of like one of those types of reports. So you don't really quite know, but you kind of assume that you do. But Nico Iamaleava is now the Tennessee star quarterback commit. That's a big get for them, regardless of what he's making or not. But I hope that one day if it's not him and it's not Tennessee, I hope we do get that peeled back at some point in time. But that's just a little update on NIL, the fact that there is a quarterback recruit signing a deal worth up to $8 million. So where do we go 5 years from now? Where are we? We in the 20s? We in the 20s?
I have no idea. You'll be a farm team for the Bengals, or you'll be attached to the Cowboys, or
Yep, Buckeyes will be a feeder system for the Bengals or something like that, I guess. But speaking of
that, the Bengals will be a feeder system for Ohio State.
Possibly. But that was of interest, and also of interest as far as that goes, and whether or not that's all accurate remains to be seen, and will be seen at some point, I'm sure. But Lane Kiffin, he knows Tennessee very well, obviously. He also had some comments about the $7 to $8 million reported deal for a 2023 quarterback recruit, and he had some comments that came the day after Iamaleava committed to Tennessee. So that report in The Athletic had come out a couple of weeks ago, and everybody was, very big and blah, blah, blah all over it. And Iamaleava is a California guy, so they just keep pumping out the 5-star quarterbacks in California. But Lane Kiffin was talking on Tuesday as the Rebs got their spring practices underway, and he just commented on NIL. I've obviously said a lot about NIL from the beginning of it. Let's make sure that we understand. I love that the players are getting paid, and I just say how it is. I guess I got called a clown before for saying how it is. NIL has a lot to do with where players go, and to not think that is crazy. Literally, it would be like being a head coach in the NFL, signing a great free agency class of players, going out and getting these great players and coming up here and saying to you guys the contracts had nothing to do with the players coming here, and they just wanted to come play for me. So obviously it has a lot to do with where players go, and it should. Everybody wants 17 to 18-year-old adults to choose job, or everybody wants 17 to 18-year-olds. Adults choose jobs a lot of time for money, salaries, so why would a kid not? So there was Lane Kiffin on name, image, and likeness, and just always kind of curious to get his thoughts.
He's not lying.
No. And he's not saying anything controversial.
No.
It's kind of like the world today where it's like, I'm afraid I'm going to upset two people. And it's like, of course players are picking schools for money. Are we stupid? Why are we lying to ourselves?
Lane Kiffin is only controversial in that regard in that he's been controversial in the past, and his mouth hole is saying something, so people assume, like, oh, it's controversial. Like, no, he's just...
Sometimes he says things that make a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I think he's absolutely right about NIL, and I think we're seeing that more and more. Also, you mentioned earlier SMU men's basketball coach Tim Jankovic, who we just had on as a guest a couple weeks ago, just for those who may have missed it, did announce his retirement as well. And I know we got to run, so I guess I'll just leave it there for now.
Get one more in. Get one more in.
No, that's all right.
Okay. All right. Randy Peterson covers Iowa State. The